Well, welcome everyone to Technology, Ethics and the Law. It is great to be with you. My name is Aaron Lane, and today I'm joined by the wonderful Kath Nolan. Hi, Kath.
Hey, how are you?
Well.
That's good to hear. So I'm lucky enough to be your lecturer for this great subject, and Aaron is the one you'll see the least. Because he's not good at saying nice things about himself, I'm going to say some stuff about him right now, introduce him. So he's the guru, particularly in the blockchain space. He's recently back from the States where he was doing some really fascinating research, which hopefully we will learn more about as the semester progresses. And his focus is really on the ways that technology has been changing and what that means for the law and the way legal practitioners work. So I think you're going to find that really interesting, but largely you'll be hearing from me and the tutor, Mary. So, I'll introduce myself as well, or do you want to do that? How do we do this? This is ridiculous. This is very awkward, isn't it? But anyway, let's go. So I'm a practitioner. I've had more than 30 years practicing law, so my guess is that most of you were not even a twinkle in your father's eye when I started practice. I have practiced largely in the technology space, particularly in the fintech space. You'll learn a little bit more about that as we go. And I think of myself more as a pracademic than an academic. I bring my practice experience, as does Mary, who you'll meet in the tutes, who's the tutor in this subject. I'm really excited about this subject for a range of different reasons. So actually I'm going to make Aaron talk for a second. Tell Aaron, what do you like about teaching or coordinating this subject?
Well, I mean, I think this is one of the, this is a core unit in the degree, right? Like, every law degree you do anywhere around the world, you want to do a law degree, and you have to do an ethics component. Every single year in practice, when you go to renew your practicing certificate, you've got to tick a box that says, yes, I've done my couple of hours per year in continuing professional education, but one of those is always ethics as well, because law is a profession. Law is not just a service job, where you're providing someone with, I was going to say accountants, but I won't pick on them.
They're a profession too.
I guess they're kind of a profession as well. But you know what I mean? It's not like you're, say, connecting someone's internet to your home as a service, right? Now that's a wonderful service. We need people to do those jobs, but it's not a profession in the sense that, when you go to a lawyer, you are putting your trust and confidence in this other person who knows all of this stuff, that they know all this sort of legal knowledge that the client doesn't have. And the client's kind of relying on them to give good advice in their best interests. All right. So there's kind of this, like, what we call in law a fiduciary relationship, and the ethics components are really the check on that. And I think that's the hallmark of a profession, where you've got this kind of this relationship of trust and confidence. And so there's ethical duties that are as a result of that. Now, I mean, over time, those things have been codified, into conduct rules and those sorts of things, and how we admit people into the profession, is now legislated, and those sorts of things. But that's why I think this subject is really, really important. And I guess Kath, we could have designed a really boring ethics course.
Oh, look, let's tell them that's boring for now. So set their expectations low, because I genuinely think people expect to be bored by this course or by the ethics component of their law degree. I know I did all those years ago, but the really funny thing is, like, I was admitted to practice in 1989, and I don't think there is another part of my original law degree that I regularly have to go back and think about the principles of in exactly the same way. Like, having been in practice for such a long time, I've seen so many changes, particularly about the way that we do lawyering. But the things that haven't changed is the ways in which we take responsibility for the lawyering we do, and how we think about ourselves as a profession. And I think too that it's so interesting because there's kind of economic concepts that come into this as well. And I know economics is your particular interest, but there were so many barriers to entry. We can talk about that in the lecture a little bit, but so many barriers to entry into the profession when I started, because it was just really hard to find the law. Everybody can find the law now. It's actually not that easy, but making sense of it is something else. And in fact, as technologies change and make many of the processes of lawyering easier or automated, we end up in a position where actually understanding what it means and how it affects the communities we serve is more meaningful. And I think it's actually really quite inspired to bring the technology and the way the profession is changing into the subject where you're learning about those black letter rules that you're expecting to be bored about. And I'm going to tell you are for now. So
No, but that's kind of it, right? So we're trying to bring kind of three things together, really. Well, the two pillars are kind of the legal practice part, the ethical responsibilities, by virtue of being a profession, and kind of mapping out, well, how does that change in the face of technology over time? Because as you say, the way that we, will do lawyering now, a lot of things are the same, but a lot of things have changed as well. And so I think through this course, we're going to start out looking at the practice of law and how the legal profession is regulated. We'll look then at technology and disruption in legal practice. We'll look at specific applications to legal practice. We'll then look at the ethical kind of conduct rules, duties to the client, financial relationships, duties to the court and third parties, and so on. And then the more scary part at the end, the disciplinary complaints and cost disputes that befall a lot of practitioners. It's more having disputes with your own clients. I guess I didn't really ever think that would happen, but one of my jobs as a junior lawyer for the law firm that I worked for was writing up writs against clients that hadn't paid their bills. So these things happen. Kath, I might just talk for a quick moment about the assessment tasks, because
please.
Question everyone wants to know is, well, how am I going to pass this course? Well, you've got 3 assessment tasks. The first assessment task is worth 10%. It is going to be in a short kind of blog posty, reflection-y sort of format. The specific question will be posted up in the first week of semester on Canvas. So check that out. But that will have to do with the first portion of the course, which is, how is legal practice changing in the face of technology. The second assessment task is worth 40%. This is an individual assignment. The audience will be a hypothetical kind of law firm partner that you're working for, or number of partners, and you'll draft them a position paper, which will have to do with technology and legal practice. The final exam is obviously in the exam period at the end of semester. That's worth 50%. The majority of that exam will focus on the ethical rules and obligations, and they'll be presented in the form of a hypothetical factual scenario that you'll be required to, identify the relevant issues and explain what the relevant rules are, and then apply the law to the facts of the particular scenario. So that will be the focus of the exam, but all topics are examinable, and there will be some other questions sort of thrown in there as well. So that all adds up to 100% if my maths are correct, and you just need 50% overall. So if you bomb out on the first assessment task, no big deal. You can make it up along the way.
Look, I know everybody comes in thinking, how am I going to be examined? How do I get the best mark that I can get in this course? Honestly, my advice to everybody is do the reading, listen to the lectures, attend the tutes, and try and be interested. The thing is, being interested in something helps it stick in your brain, helps you think about how it might apply in the real world. And if you can think about how these concepts apply in the real world, you will know how to answer the questions that are in the exam. In the tutes, you'll go through and do some practical problems. You'll have plenty of opportunities to ask questions. Talk to each other about this stuff because it matters, and because this is an opportunity that you have to meet people and to develop your own standing and views in the profession. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Aaron, you won't see all that much, but he's the one that you will need to contact in the rare and unusual circumstances where you might need an extension or some sort of special consideration. If you have ELP, if you don't know what an ELP is, you don't have one, so it probably doesn't matter to you. But if you have something like that, you also should make sure that Aaron gets notice that it's in place. Anything else you want to add there?
Yeah, so just I guess to underline, I guess the difference between the teaching staff's role. So my role is an administrative one fundamentally. So anything of an administrative nature, anything of a sort of personal administrative nature, that stuff can come to me. I don't have set office hours. Instead, please just send me an email. My contact details are on Canvas, and so you can send that through any time. But anything to do with the course content, anything to follow up from the lectures, or query some feedback on one of your assessment tasks, that should go to either Kath or Mary, depending on where the question's arising from. So, yep.
And neither Mary or I are based on campus. So again, email is the best way to contact us. I tend to look at emails once a day. So they'll, at your absolute worst case, it'll be 48 hours before I get to you if you happen to send something just after I've looked, but usually I'd rather surprise than disappoint, so usually we're better than that. I also make my phone number available, and I work on the basis I'd rather you didn't panic. I am very good at not answering my phone if it doesn't suit me. So leave me a message and let me know, because if you need somebody to answer a question quickly, I'm happy to do that if I can, and I'd rather you weren't panicking. But if it's not urgent, and it usually isn't, send me an email and you'll get a more considered response.
Good advice.
All right. So I think that's probably all we need to say for now, other than have a good semester, everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kath.
Thank you, Aaron.